Welcome back everyone. Before we dive in, make sure to drop your thoughts and the lessons you took from this story in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. Alex tried to believe her, but on weekends, she'd sleep till noon, glued to her phone, laughing at messages he never saw. When she did look at him, sometimes her eyes flickered with something between boredom and contempt. He didn't know when he'd gone from partner to background noise. Her family loved him when he was the one fixing cars and mowing lawns for free. Now they barely called. His own friends stopped inviting him out. He was always working, always busy. Alex started to feel invisible in his own life, moving from room to room, picking up after people who didn't seem to notice he was there. Still, he kept moving. He was built that way: work, provide, repeat. He drove late nights to pay off Veronica's new SUV. He covered her mother's hospital bills without a word. When Daniel needed braces, Alex sold his old coin collection from childhood, his last tied to simpler days. The party was Veronica's idea. She'd made senior partner, the youngest black woman at the firm, a true go-getter. Alex was proud, genuinely. He listened as she planned every detail: the rooftop venue in Buckhead, the caterers, the signature drinks, even the string quartet. Alex crunched numbers in silence, then quietly picked up every tab. He sold his custom-built fishing boat, the one he'd spent years restoring, to cover the last invoice. The night of the party was hot and sticky, the air humming with cicadas. Alex put on his best suit, pressed and clean, and tried to match Veronica's energy. She looked stunning, regal, powerful, already halfway gone into her new life. Daniel was at a friend's sleepover, so Alex walked Veronica to the car, holding the door for her as always. At the rooftop, the city sparkled. Veronica was immediately swallowed up by friends and colleagues. Alex hovered at the edge, refilling her glass, adjusting the flowers, tipping the valet. He was used to being background, but tonight it stung in a new way. Halfway through the night, as a group from the firm gathered, Veronica motioned Alex over. He smiled, expecting an introduction. Instead, she waved a dismissive hand and said, "Oh, that's just my driver." Laughter rippled through the group. Nobody corrected her. Alex froze, smile faltering as the group turned away and the conversation drifted back to business. Alex's ears rang. He walked to the bar, asked for water, and watched Veronica hold court with her co-workers. The humiliation wasn't just the words, but how easily she dismissed him, like he was a stranger, like the last decade hadn't happened. He finished his water, left without a word, and drove home alone. The next morning, Veronica didn't come home. She texted, "Staying with the girls. Don't wait up." No apology. No explanation. Alex spent the night staring at the living room ceiling, remembering the way she used to reach for his hand in the dark. In the days that followed, something in Alex broke and mended at the same time. Veronica started sleeping in the guest room to clear her head. She barely spoke to him at all, unless she needed something: money, a ride to the airport, someone to pick up dry cleaning. Her family ghosted him. Their son started mimicking her attitude, rolling his eyes when Alex asked about homework. It was like living with strangers in his own home. Daniel grew cold, sometimes snapping, "Why don't you do something real for once?" Alex's friends stopped calling. Even the people he once helped out, neighbors he'd fix fences for, acted like he was contagious. Alex didn't argue. He let it all roll over him like rain. He kept driving, kept paying bills, kept showing up for a family that seemed to be dissolving in front of his eyes. But at night, he started plotting. Not for revenge, not yet, but for a way out. He remembered the way his father used to hustle, how he'd always have a backup plan. Alex began researching veterans programs, business grants, small business loans. He read everything he could find about custom wood shops, restoration businesses, and Atlanta's antique furniture scene. He applied to a mentorship program for veterans run by a local entrepreneur. And to his surprise, he was accepted. He didn't tell Veronica. He just went on lunch breaks, late evenings, whenever he could. He soaked up advice, made notes, worked out a plan. He picked up more driving shifts, quietly saving every extra dollar. He sold his life insurance policy, cashed in the last of his savings, pawned his gold watch. Every week he squirreled money away into a separate account, one Veronica didn't know about. He found a rundown workshop for rent in the West End, a squat brick building with busted windows and sawdust on the floor. It was perfect. He signed the lease using his saved cash and a small loan from the veterans program. He called the new shop Woodland Legacy Customs, a nod to his father, to the quiet strength that shaped him. 4 months he worked all day and night, driving, crafting, learning, marketing. The first few months were slow, but word spread. He did good work, treated clients with respect, didn't cheat or cut corners. He worked on classics, an old oak desk, a vintage rocking chair, even a rare antique cabinet that belonged to an ex-mayor. His reputation grew, mostly by word of mouth. No fanfare, just a steady climb. By the end of the year, Alex had a wait list. He hired 2 other craftsmen, both veterans. The business became profitable, then comfortable. He stopped coming home late. He stopped coming home much at all. Veronica barely noticed, she was busy. Work, friends, new events, always another networking opportunity. Their son Daniel started high school and pulled further away. Alex felt invisible, but now he didn't mind. He was building something just for him. One night, he came home late, exhausted but content. He found Veronica waiting in the kitchen, arms crossed, annoyed. "Where have you been?" she demanded. "At work," he replied. She rolled her eyes. "You mean driving rich people around?" "No," he said quietly, "building my shop." She blinked, surprised. "What shop?" Alex just shrugged. "Don't worry about it." A week later, he moved out. He packed his clothes, left a note and the house keys on the counter, and drove away in his restored vintage truck. No shouting, no drama, just silence. Veronica didn't call. Daniel sent a single text, "Why are you leaving, Alex?" He wrote back, "Call me when you want to talk." Months passed with no answer. Alex focused on his shop, on his small, chosen family of craftsmen, and the peace of a quiet home. He rented a 1-bedroom apartment in the West End, started cooking for himself, and fixed up old bicycles on weekends. He reconnected with his brother back in Detroit, sent his mother money, and let the old pain in his chest finally loosen. 2 years passed like water under a bridge. One muggy summer afternoon, Alex stopped at a gas station on his way back from a client's house. As he stepped out, a familiar voice called his name. It was Olivia, one of Veronica's old friends from the firm. She looked awkward, shuffling her feet. "Hey, Alex. Wow, long time." He nodded, polite but cool. "How you been?" She hesitated. "You, hear about Veronica?" He shook his head, pretending not to care. Things haven't been great. She got fired last year. Something about misappropriated funds. Some drama at the firm. She's, been having a hard time." Alex just smiled. "Life happens." Olivia nodded, bitter-lipped. "She lives out by College Park now. Lost the condo. Her boyfriend left, too. Anyway, take care, Alex." He watched her walk away, heart pounding. Not with joy, not with revenge, just a quiet, settled peace. A few days later, Alex was leaving a grocery store, groceries loaded in his trunk, when he saw her. Veronica. Older, tired, her curls pulled back, her shoes worn down. She was struggling with cheap grocery bags, balancing her purse, a look of defeat carved into her face. She saw him, recognition flickering in her eyes. For a split second she seemed about to call out, but Alex just nodded once, calm, composed. He slid into his truck, started the engine, and rolled past her without a word. He didn't look back. That night he sat on his apartment balcony, a warm drink in hand, watching the sun set over the West End. The world was quieter now. He didn't have a wife or the fancy parties or even the praise of a son who'd turn his back. But he had himself. A thriving business, a life built on hard work and unshakable dignity. He never raised his voice. He never sought revenge. He just took his pain, carried it forward, and built something strong from it. Veronica, her family, even Daniel, they all vanished like mist, leaving Alex in the sunshine of his own peace. When people talked about karma, they imagined lightning bolts and public justice. Alex knew better. Real karma was slow, private, and quiet. It was a man driving his own vehicle on his own road, away from the people who couldn't see his worth. He was never just a driver. He was the engine, steady, unbreakable, built for distance. The party, the laughter, the betrayals, all just pit stops along the way. Now, as the city lights flickered below, Alex smiled for the first time in a long while. He had learned his father's lesson, finally, build your peace. Let the world chase you.